Well, Pep Guardiola has knocked out Mikel Arteta from the FA Cup on the fourth round of this tournament. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokan David. Smash the like button, comment, and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel because we bring you vast content as far as this game of football is really concerned. Now, today has been one of the most highly anticipated days in the game of football, especially in English history, because two of the best teams in the league had to face themselves in what we call the fourth round of the FA Cup. Man City reached here by beating Chelsea 4-0, and Arsenal beat Oxford by 3-0. This time around, Arsenal were into the mix with them. Obviously, City edged Arsenal in a very highly anticipated competitive game. In a very highly competitive game that any side could go ahead and really win, and no one could really be outside there to complain of the result of the other one taking the 3 points and knocking him out, because the result does not reflect exactly what happened in the field of play, because this game was supposed to go all out in a draw. Not very many chances created, half chances there, but they really looked like they went toe-to-toe with one another, and no side exposed the other a lot, because when you look at that goal that Man City score, it's the brilliancy of Jack Grealish, and it's I think the two Arsenal players to blame, because as Tomiyasu is holding down Jack Grealish, there is another Arsenal player, instead of marking the space instead of marking the space after Tomiyasu, he minded a lot at blocking Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish goes in for a very good pass that really found Nathan Ake, and Nathan Ake went in for a curling effort in the lower bottom corner using his weak foot, that is the right foot, and he placed it into the back of the net. I heard the commentator say that he passes the ball into the back of the net. It never looked easy. When you look at the ball curling there, it looked easy, but the technique was really majestic, and it was really a very good technique taken by that player known as Nathan Ake. But Arsenal really played very well. Man City played very well. I can describe this game as a game of two halves. First half, Arsenal was all over the pitch. Second half, Man City took over everything. And one will say that maybe the taking off of Thomas Partey really caused this, because in the second half, Thomas Partey never returned. Albert Sambi-Lokonga came on and really took over the midfield, and at least City tried to push ahead. But one will say that City is a team that has really turned into to be a team of playing the second half. Against Tottenham Hotspur, they really looked rusty in the first half, and they conceded 2 goals. Second half, they come in through and they really score 4 goals. Then against Wolverhampton Wanderers, I think their best half they played was that of the second half, because they put them onto what we call the attack after attack mission. That's it. So they couldn't really spot it and stop them, and they went ahead for those efforts that really saw them really win this game of football. So this time round, as I told you, that if Arsenal defends well, they will really find themselves into the next round, because City will allow them to score goals, but Arsenal never created very many goals as expected. They expected Arsenal to go all out and really create chances, but they never created chances. I think, did Arsenal have any clear chance? The only clear-cut chance they had was that of, was it Lokonga? It was not Lokonga. It was a player called, I think it was around the 6th, 7th minute. It was Nketiah missing out onto that chance that was really called to him by a player called Granit Xhaka, and obviously Laporte poked that ball into the corner kick. That's it. But I don't remember Arsenal getting any other chance that was close to getting inside, apart from that Tomiyasu shot that really directed to goal in the 5th minute of the game. He really played it very well, but obviously Ortega was there to save the day for Man City. So Arsenal really had lots of things to do to win this game of football, but there are positives and negatives to really look at in this game of football. And let's look at some of the positives. One, Arsenal has gone toe-to-toe with City. Arsenal has played a high line throughout. They never allowed City to dominate the game. That's it. When you look at the ball sorry, the match starts, ball possession and everything, they were close. They were so close to one another to an extent that any team would take the game home. But City, having really went in through and really created that chance, they put themselves into a winning position. But there was a very big battle into the first half because Rob Holding was taking on Haaland, but Haaland was really knocked down by this guy known as Rob Holding, although they were pushing one another, but obviously Haaland never scored a goal in that entire game, meaning that they kept Haaland out of the game. And that is like a message that should be sent to the manager of Man City, Pep Guardiola, that how is he going to improve on Haaland to come out and not be outplayed in every game? Because Arsenal have outmarked him, United outmarked him, and very many other teams have gone ahead to outmark him. That means he needs to find another way of really making him available in such big games. Because if you are a striker like Haaland, you would like to score against big teams. You don't score against big teams, your impact is less felt because a striker like Edin Ketia, who scored against Manchester United, if at all he comes out and really levels goals with you in the season, everyone will be behind Edin Ketia because he goes ahead to score goals in big games and you don't do so. So Haaland needs to go all out and really find himself onto the score sheet. Positives for Arsenal, Kientieni coming out and closing down Riyad Mahrez, and Mahrez was taken off and he had nothing to do in that entire game. He had nothing to do in that entire game. The other positives all about the goalkeeper of Arsenal and the saves really went ahead to make. This is one of the memorable saves that would have seen Arsenal be behind in this game of football in what we call the first 10 minutes of the game, because Haaland really came close, as you see. That is how Haaland came close. Haaland came close. And when he came close, he came out as Matt Turner and stopped him. He stopped him like that. And the ball really went out of Haaland's vicinity and it never went into the back of the net. And he had beaten the high line of Arsenal, that is Haaland, very fast. But obviously, having beat the high line, the goalkeeper came out and exercised his goal sweeping tactics and obviously stopped the guy from really stopping a side known as Man City from scoring their goal that would have put them ahead into the first half. So that is another positive that really Arsenal has gone ahead to see. The other one is all about Trossard. Guys, Trossard in the first half, he played very well. And to me, I think no player, apart from Matana, that can come out and really level or equal the amount of football that was exercised in the minutes he played at Etihad, other than Trossard. Trossard played very well, and he put himself in a picture of why Arsenal really brought him on the field of play. When you saw Martinelli coming in through, he didn't really put up an impact, but obviously he looked so selfish, made decisions late. He couldn't do cutbacks because he really went twice on the byline on 2 occasions, but he couldn't really figure out a correct pass to find Arsenal into the mix. So Saka, very silent. Another negative, Saka, very silent in that game. Something that you wouldn't really want to see to it, that you really want to do the needful and really even talk about, because you can't remember a moment that Saka had a spark in that entire game. He was really silent. This goes back to the game of Manchester United. I told the fans of Arsenal that we are watching this channel, Saka in the game of Manchester United, apart from those 2 shots he directed at goal, he had nothing else to do. Shaw was maintaining him very, very, very well. Very, very well. And he put him very well under his he defended him very, very well and put him under his surveillance. And obviously, he had nothing to do in the vicinity of Luke Shaw. You see? So what we need to know is all about what is Arsenal's other option without Saka, because looks like there are certain games Saka is going to be closed out. Today, Saka was closed out by Nathan Ake, had nothing to do in that entire, was it 70 games he played before Odegaard came in through? He had nothing to do. And in that regard, what is the option of Arsenal? If Saka doesn't go ahead and do the needful, what do you need to go out and do? So that shows you that, however much Arsenal is chasing in for Caicedo, very good move for them. Even that side is really lacking. The right attacking side of the midfield is lacking because even when Thomas Partey was on the field of play, Saka looked off. So I believe goals, when a player comes in and scores goals, people will not really look at things that he's been doing that have been not well onto the pitch. I saw Martin Keown saying that Saka is the only player in this team that can really fit in the invisibles. And I asked, why do you talk about Saka? If you tell me Ramsdale would bench Jens Lehmann, I say yes, 100%, because he was really a very good goalkeeper, but with lots of mistakes on him. Ramsdale, good goalkeeper, does less mistakes and does it. But Saka is really overhyped. And I'm really worrying for Saka because this hype might go over his head. And when it goes on his head, you won't like the repercussions because very few English players at the age of Saka have thrived and went ahead to really maintain that pressure. Most of them fall victims, and obviously they really fall off. So I believe it's time for Saka to be managed very well by Mikel Arteta. And how do you manage him very well? You have to get in players that are really going to come in and really play for the team, known as Arsenal, especially in that position when Saka is really not in the right form. Because Saka is struggling and Arsenal have no option. And Mikel Arteta himself has nothing to do because he has no player to play that side. Don't tell me, why don't they bring on Marquinhos? You can't bring on Marquinhos in such a game because it's really beyond his reach and edge. Now, I'm having Fahated trying to start a Leicester fan channel. Any advice? We are part of the more away fans that go to every game. Any help or shout out, please? I'm a big, more Leicester City fan. All right. Thank you very much for watching in. Leicester City fan. All right. I think you can start the channel, do content. All I can tell you is all about consistency. Be consistent and everything will go onto your way. So, Mr. Fahated, continue to do that and everything will go on their way. So that's what I believe. Consistency has put me where I am, and I believe consistency will put you where you are. Thank you for supporting Leicester City, but it's out of this conversation because we are really talking Arsenal and Manchester City. Arsenal have been beaten by Man City 1-0. I know very many questions are really going to be raised in this game of football. You get? Arsenal have lost their second game in the season. Third. They first lost against Manchester United away. They lost at PSV Eindhoven away. They lost to Man City away. But one will ask themselves that, will Arsenal bounce back? Will they bounce back? Because when United beat Arsenal by 3-1, Arsenal bounced back by beating Brentford 3-0. Spurs was beaten, Liverpool was beaten, and very many other teams. When Arsenal was beaten by PSV, I think they bounced back and beat Leeds by 1-0. That is it. So this time round, after beating Manchester United, they've lost to Man City. That is not the momentum you would have required from a team like Arsenal. You believe they had all the energy required to go on and really do the needful and really beat them. That's it. Because I believe Arteta had a chance to beat Pep if at all he had put in his entire starting 11. That's it. Because taking off Partey, not all called for. That means there is something serious going on with Partey's health. We are waiting to see what Arteta is going to tell us about Thomas Partey, but it looks like there's going to be some bad news coming in through because you can't take him off in the 45th minute if at all he's not injured. I believe Partey was supposed to play close to 70 minutes, rest him, and bring in Sambi Albert Lokonga. So if that doesn't go that side, you really believe that everything is not the right way it's supposed to be done. So I believe we watched a game of football that we enjoyed, but in the final third, all teams really lacked ideas. They ran short of ideas. Arsenal won the first half. They were not penetrative. They failed to get an opening in the back four or through the back four of Man City. Man City only, I think, got one chance and they utilize it through Nathan Ake. That's why you see to it that a goal has come in from the unusual side, because Man City rarely gets its goals from central defenders. Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland, Mahrez, maybe Odegaard, not Odegaard, Ika Gundogan, and people playing in the front positions, Bernardo Silva, Jack Grealish. So, Arsenal and Man City, their front three looked stale today. I might say they looked stale. So, not something that we go out and really talk about that, oh, we loved the game that was really played today. Arsenal fans will get a positive that they've gotten toe-to-toe with City. City rarely beat their high line, you get? But how far did Arsenal go to torment that high line of City? You get? That's the big question. Because you need to ask yourself, if we fail to do it today, will we do it next time? The question is over to you, but some questions are being answered by Mikel Arteta. How? Getting in Caicedo. The last story I've heard is that Caicedo is talking to you, is in a closed meeting with De Zerbi and talking to him, asking him to really let him go to Arsenal. We don't know whether it's going to Arsenal or Chelsea, but Arsenal made a bid that was rejected. So if you bring in Caicedo, obviously that midfield solution is solved, because in that game, you take out Partey, you bring in Caicedo, you win it. You win it because Caicedo is more industrious going forward. His engine is out of this world. He has been in such situations of facing Rodri on very many occasions. So, Arsenal is in a CDM because how many weeks away from playing City again? Today is 28th. 4 days left to end the month, plus more 14 days. That is 18 days from now. Arsenal is going to be playing City. Now, losing this game of football is not going to be painful to Arsenal fans. That's it. When will it bite back? If Arsenal fail to beat City on 15th, that's it. All City beats them. Even if they get a draw, Arsenal fans will be okay. But if at all they lose to City, they'll say, all right, 2 games played so far, we've lost to City again. I think Arsenal needs to prepare themselves to beat City. You beat City, 11 points clear ahead of them, you win the trophy. Everyone won't look back at this result if at all Arsenal wins the Premier League. But if at all Arsenal fails to win the Premier League, everyone will come out and this result will haunt him after the league. So, Arteta needs to find himself in a better position, field players that are really going to guide him and help his team to see that do the needful and really do the needful. Because players are in, they are good. Ovio has been on bench. That is Jacob. Ovio has been on the bench. Trossard played today. Sambi Lokonga came in through and really played. He never looked bad, but looked like these players he brought in don't have good chemistry with those that play usually, because the cohesion, the patterns, the sequences look like they're not developing, apart from the only player who has just joined Arsenal as Trossard, who looks like he has been playing for Arsenal for very many years. Trossard looks like he's one of those players that has been playing for Arsenal for very, very long time. But hard luck to Arsenal. Hope you bounce back when you're playing Everton, because your next game, you're playing Everton. And this helps Arsenal on the other way, though it's really amateurish thinking and weak mentality thinking. Talking of Arsenal, remaining in 2 competitions only. Out of the FA Cup, they are left in the UEFA Europa League. Now, Arsenal are going to be playing 1 game per week until UEFA Europa League resumes. What does that mean? They are going to be resting enough. Risks of injuries are really going to be low, and they are really looking at the Premier League. That shows you that they are looking at the Premier League. If Arteta really wanted to win this game, he would have gone with his A side. You get Ramsdale in goal, Benny White, Zinchenko, Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba, Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka, Saka, Nketiah, and Trossard. That would have been the starting 11 of Arsenal. But he showed you that that is not in his mind. The Premier League is everything on his mind, because he knows that for FA Cup, you can win it next season. But the Premier League, it's getting harder and harder and harder. This is the season for Arteta to announce himself that he's one of those few managers that have gone ahead to win the Premier League, because Arsenal last won this trophy in 2003, 2004. Coming to 2 decades, he really believes that this is the time for them to really lift this trophy. Let's talk about this battle that most of you really looked at and said, oh, right, who is really going to win it? Now, when you look at a player known as Rob Holding, he really had a very bad first half against Haaland, and I think he was just lucky not to even be sent off, because there is a foul he did that he elbowed Haaland on the head, and he really slid down. So that is a player known as, sorry about it a little bit, just 1 second. So that is what Haaland was all about, and a player known as Rob Holding. Look at the battle. That's how it went down. Even Haaland went in for a shot-pulling battle. You get? So they tussled themselves one another until Haaland really lost the battle to Rob Holding, and he was elbowed onto the ground. So that is how things really went, and it was really nasty in between these two. And the manager really found it wise to take off a player called Rob Holding and brought on William Saliba to partner with Gabriel Magalhaes. So I believe they had a very good game today. I think winning a battle against Haaland is really something else to really go ahead and really talk about, but a loss is a loss in this game of football. Then there was a chance when Haaland really had a chance to volley this home, and he failed to volley it home, as you see, because Holding missed the ball with Haaland, and Haaland busted into space. Over Turner comes in through. Haaland really tried to hit it acrobatically into the back of the net. Tomiyasu had made a very quick recovery onto the goal line to stop this from going to the back of the net for a side known as Arsenal. And obviously, that really got saved. So it shows you that Haaland really looked a little bit unlucky today, because he had some good chances, but he couldn't really put them to the back of the net past the Arsenal side. There was a Tomiyasu shot in the 50th minute, and it was a good save coming in from a man known as Ortega. Look at that. Look at that. Ortega going in for a shot, and he really saved it. But it was a very good, well-worked cross coming in from Trossard, and it found Tomiyasu around the D, and he hit it. And obviously, it got saved by a player called Ortega, who was in the goal of Man City. So he really did a very fantastic and fabulous job on the night. So I think, what else we have to talk about? I don't think we don't have it to talk about. Let me show you what this game was all about and the stats as how they really went down at the end. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. And Rokan David is my name. So the game starts where 8 shots by City. Arsenal had 3. 3 shots on target by City. Arsenal had 2. 54% possession by City. 46% by Arsenal. 494 passes completed by City. 418 passes completed by Arsenal. 84% passing accuracy by City. Arsenal had 81%. 9 fouls by Man City. 14 fouls by Arsenal. 1 yellow card to City. 2 yellow cards to Arsenal, 0 red cards to both sides, 3 offsides to both sides, 0 corners for City, 3 corners for Arsenal. This is why I come and tell you that these sides never looked sharp in the final third. All their front 3 never really looked sharp. That's it. No creativity coming from Kevin De Bruyne, no creativity coming from Fabio Vieira. That's it. So they were not industrious enough. They were not creative enough to give us a game that we had really expected, because we expected an end-to-end game that was going to be having huge chances. That's why I used to eat that. City had only 8 shots. Arsenal had 5. City had 3 shots on target. Arsenal had 2. We needed more in this game, but we never got it, because that's not what we came to watch. And I believe some will say that this game has been boring, but To me, it was exciting, but I needed to see more goals coming in through, but I never saw them coming in through. I'm having Lucky Eddie. I'm really disappointed in attacking of Arsenal today. Not only Arsenal, but even City never really looked sharp. Then Lucky Eddie, thank you, Rokani, your match reaction. Thank you. Then we are having Pato Staff Channel. They also lost to Brighton at Emirates. They also lost to Brighton at Emirates. That was last season. So Arsenal has not yet lost any game at Brighton in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, they did. And they bounced back. Not so. We want Dusan Vlahovic. I don't believe that is Gutesa Hussein. I don't believe that Mikel Arteta will go all out and really go in for Dusan Vlahovic. Vlahovic really said nasty words about Arsenal, and I don't think they would love to entertain a player like him at Arsenal, having really turned them down. Lucky Eddie, Arsenal played under pressure and lacked composure. Always today is gone. Anyways, today is gone. Let them concentrate for another fixture against Everton. That's it. That's their next fixture. And I think that's what Mikel Arteta is really looking at very, very closely as far as this is concerned, because you can't not think of winning the Premier League, because looking him at the touchline today, Mikel Arteta, he looked calm. He was okay with any result that was going to come out of this game. If Arsenal won, it would have been a positive for him. If Arsenal lost, it's not all something to talk about more and more and more. So it looked like he was very much okay with the result, and he was not even under pressure like he was when he was playing Manchester United. Did you see Arteta at any one point on tenterhooks today? I never saw him on tenterhooks. Mukesa Daniel, it's good for Arsenal to concentrate on the Premier League. Yes, you're right. As I told you, Arsenal will only get haunted if they don't win the Premier League. But if they win the Premier League, all this will be background noise. That's it. So Arsenal are really geared up to winning the league. Then we are having Zakaria Idris. What happened to Arsenal today is a good one. I love. Let's the FA Cup go. Yeah. With what Arsenal is really chasing, you don't really want to see them divert their attention. You can't see Arsenal dividing their attention into 3 or 4. And you might find out that even Mikel Arteta will prefer to get out of the UEFA Europa League and will feel a weaker side to see to it that he maintains a very good squad in good shape to go ahead and really play just one game per week. Arsenal did this last season, and they almost won every game, apart from the 3 they lost to Brighton, Aston Villa, and is it Newcastle? So that is Arsenal for you. And I believe they have the right to really brag about themselves that they are really leading the table. Then Lokonga wasn't bad for today, but played so negative than playing forward. I don't blame Lokonga. Do you know why? He has not been playing games. How do you expect him to come out and perfect and play very well when he has not been playing games? You get? Iron sharpens iron. You get? The more games you play, the more sharp you get. Training is not only enough. Training is not enough. It's not enough. You need to be really in these games to be sharp. That's it. Then I'm having Kaka Pato. Arteta was just experimenting. I think he never had full grip onto this game. He was just trying to get it done. If a positive result came out, he would have welcomed it. If a loss came in through, he wouldn't. Bayern Albasa, Fabio didn't look impressive. This is what I've been talking about Fabio Vieira. Sorry. This is what I've been talking about Sambi Albert Lokonga. Even Fabio Vieira is not getting enough playing time. Mikel Arteta needs to find these players some playing time. Even if he comes in through and plays like 10, 15 minutes, that will help him to gain some match fitness. I know these players are 100% fit, but there is difference between fitness of the body and being match fit. The more games you play, the more fitter you become. So he needs to be put on the pitch more and more and more times. Then Ferramini, good evening, Mr. Dave. Once TPU was substituted, City started dominating the midfield. I think even if Thomas Partey was there, City would have gone ahead to score that goal, because when you look at how that goal comes in through, it's coming in from the wide area. Grealish cuts in. When Grealish cuts in, he finds a player called, what was his name? He finds a player called Nathan Ake. And what does Nathan Ake do? He presses that ball into the back of the net. And you can't allow a player like him to be having those spaces. Look at the space. No one was close to him. You can't tell me that Thomas Partey would have been here to close this down. You get? It was work of Tomiyasu. We did it very well, but they left this guy in yards of space, and a very good pass was given to him by Jack Grealish, and obviously he really guided the ball into the far corner, and the finish was really exquisite, and obviously he did the needful. So it shows you how Arsenal defended very badly into there, and it takes you back to what I told you in the match preview, that who is winning this game of football? If Arsenal defends very well, they are winning this game of football. If they defend badly, they are losing. One moment of sleeping costed them a goal. As it were, when they're playing Manchester United, United slept for just a second, and Arsenal capitalized onto that and won the game of football. From start, City was better as we saw possession, but what you know, we are really pressed the game and made the game hard for City, even not Haaland not scoring. Yeah, Arsenal made it hard for City because City were not looking expressive as they always be at home. That means Arsenal gave them a game. That's it. Arsenal gave City a game today. I won't worry about that. But my problem was how Arsenal transited into the final third. No chances created that Edin Ketia could score. The only one coming through, and Laporte slid or poked that ball into the back, or past the byline, and it really went into the corner kick. Lokonga can't cover quarter part of Partey. Yeah, that's why Arteta is going in for Caicedo. Then Mumbere Jose, I think Arteta costed us the match by removing Thomas Partey. We are really waiting to see whether Thomas Partey is not ill, because you might find that he took him off because he was ill. That's it. Caicedo is asking for a move, and from his Twitter, just in now, yeah, he's asking for a move. That's it. He wants out totally, and he has been holding close talks with closed-door talks with De Zerbi, the manager. He wants out. Mikel, may he had on big ambitions for his game. All right, that is Mumbere. Then there is Lucky D. Have a blessed night. Big bro, I love you so much. Thank you for watching in through. Then Randall Pittman Lokonga supposed to block the shot from Alvarez, and goal might not happen. But how could he? I believe when that shot deflects off the post, then that's when you go out and really call in for players to press that area where Nathan Ake was, and he was left alone and not unmarked. Fabio Romano has shared Caicedo transfer request tweet. All right, I'm going to go out and really read it, and I might go ahead and redo that story now. Then Nolo Konga was so reluctant to cover that space. I don't believe so. I believe that was the work of the two players who were really surrounded, all trying to swamp up Jack Grealish, because Jack Grealish was marked by two players. Why would you mark Jack Grealish by two players? Yet Tomiyasu alone had really stopped him from really crossing or doing a cutback. I think it was all about the second player that came in through and failed to do his job. That's it, because Tomiyasu is good on one-on-one. Then Mr. Rokani talked about Leo's debut. He was impressive. Trossard was impressive. I talked about him at the beginning of the video. He was really impressive, and I really liked the way he really had to play his game of football. So, guys, thank you very much for watching in through. That has been my match reaction. And, guys, I sign out for now. See you later. Let me see whether I'm coming back with the player ratings or the Trossard tweet wanting him out of Arsenal. I'm out.